I'm sorry, we have to be professional.
Oh my god.
Ready? And we're gonna start recording. And we are back.
Welcome back, you guys, to No Speed Limit 360. We're back now, back again.
Back again.
This time we're actually having a little bit of a little interesting little twist here in our
We got a
podcast.
guest.
We have a guest, a friend.
Yeah.
So, you want to go ahead and
Yeah.
introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey guys, my name is Dylan Almshaw from Anaheim Hills, California. I'm really excited to be here today.
So, okay.
Dylan, how do we met?
Yeah, let's get
friends
let's
in
get into
common.
it.
We met because friends in common, and we met at the track. It was really
Yeah.
weird how we met. It was crazy.
It was kind of spontaneous. So our family friend invited us to the racetrack, and then I met Rafa and Chris there, and we kind of just met. It was last minute, so we didn't
Very
know
last minute.
Yeah, like we didn't know my dad and I needed instructors to drive. So Rafa called his friend, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to come right now." And then Chris just drove over, and it was just like really sudden. And I'd say we had like 20 minutes to get the cars ready, this and that, and do everything and get on a track. So it happened out of nowhere, but it was a great day.
This was a track day in Chuckwalla. I'm sorry, in Fontana.
Fontana, yes, Fontana.
I wish we were in Chuckwalla that day.
But it was really quick. Like they told me, like, hey, they run out of sponsors. I mean, instructors. And I was like, what do you mean? There's no instructors. I'm like, holy crap. So Chris was gonna come, but he was just gonna chill that day because he was just gonna help me with the car.
Yep.
And then I told him, like, hey, grab your helmet. I need help.
Yeah.
we need help on this.
It worked out perfectly.
Yeah, so
it actually worked really good.
yeah, we got to meet you and your dad and a couple of other friends that we well, I've never met before, and they seem really cool people. Very nice
thank
cars
you.
that you guys brought out there too.
Yeah.
I mean, very interesting cars as
It
well.
was a pretty dynamic like range of cars from like American to German, but I'd say that was pretty much it.
Whoa. He hasn't said what he's driving.
Yeah, I haven't told you guys. That's a little
before
surprise
we
here.
go into it or anything, let's go ahead and why don't you just kind of give a little bit of more of a background of what you're driving, what kind of got you into the whole car scene and everything.
So I drive a Koenigsegg. Again, I'm joking. I wish. No. So right now I'm driving the Tesla Model 3. I actually tracked it that day with Rafa in the car. It was an amazing day. Put down a pretty good lap time, I'd say, for my first time. So I've been into cars my whole life. I basically, since the time I was born, when I was 6 months old, I used to say Hummer. That was like one of my first words that I knew was Hummer.
That's not really a bad way to
Yeah.
say
Yeah, it wasn't the best way to start. I mean, I still love Hummers to this day, but like I'd be on the freeway and I knew which car was a Hummer. And when I was younger in preschool and stuff, I'd actually sit on the fence and I just watch cars drive by. All the other kids are playing handball, this and that. It's like, nope, I'm watching cars. And it got to the point where my teachers actually had to like take me away from the fence and have me socialize.
They're probably thinking he's gonna jump the fence.
no.
The shooter.
Yeah. So I've always been into cars, and then I've always wanted to race. So I started off at K1 just doing stuff like that, and then I realized it's like, well, I kind of need to make my own money. So I got a job, and then I was working, and then so I still work right now, but it's like not enough to afford racing.
It's never enough. It's never enough.
So my parents
the most
sponsor
expensive
me.
thing ever.
How am I gonna go with
Best
that?
sponsors ever.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so I've always been into cars and stuff, but I've always wanted to race. So that's been my passion. So when I had the opportunity to go out to Fontana with you guys, it was like, oh my God, this is a dream come true. And then my dad's like, oh, Dylan, you're going to take your sister's 2006 C class that's all beat up, this and that. And I was like, no, I refuse.
That's not gonna happen.
Yes.
Nope.
Hard pass.
Yeah, so I ended up being able to take the Model 3, and I just charged it up in the morning, took it over to the track, and it was an awesome day. I mean, I think it was 103 degrees outside.
At the track, it was hot.
Yeah,
Once you got off the track, it was actually a little bit cooler, but it was
Yeah.
still a hot day. Hot day. That
Yeah, it
day.
was really hot. Luckily, they let us wear shorts and t-shirts, so it was fine. Everyone's
that's
just
great.
drenching sweat, but yeah.
Oh gosh, that was horrible. I
It was really nice.
think I was drinking Pedialyte all day.
Yeah,
So we have Pedialyte, Gatorade, water, whatever the hell we have
Oh, yeah,
for
exactly.
hydration. But now, so this is the background. So he comes in and he tells us like, hey, there's no instructors. I call Chris, comes on, and I'm like, I look at his car, I turn around and look at his car, and I'm like, is this the one? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, everyone hated it. I was wearing a Tesla shirt that said S3XY on it, so it spells sexy, and it's just all the Tesla cars on it.
Yep.
And I was like, everyone's gonna hate it.
Yeah, in front of Porsches. And then we had like super rich Chinese kids right next to us.
Yeah, in the same garage driving
my
E63
God.
AMG,
all
AMG GT.
heavy hitters.
Yeah,
And they all overheated.
every single one of them.
Every one of their cars overheated.
Yeah, they all
It was
overheated.
funny because you knew that that they didn't know what was going on because they popped the hood and there was steam coming out and
Yeah.
they're like,
What's going
on? Scratching my head and everything. Well,
Yeah, the cars looked really cool.
we were like
but,
trying to help, but they were like, "Oh yeah, no, we got it and everything." I'm like, "Okay, well, whatever." But they all those cars.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I mean, they had that one E63 AMG that was actually really cool. Is that like really cool blue wrap on it, and then the whole hood was glass. Like it had the glass section for the actual engine block.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
The cars were beautiful.
Yeah,
That's one of the cool things about going out there. You get to see all these different types of cars that you don't normally get to see out
Yeah.
on the streets. I mean, occasionally, but it's different when it's up close.
Yeah.
When it's up close. I mean, and then sometimes you can get somebody that's like, yeah, go ahead, take a seat in there. Most of the other people
Yeah.
are just like, better step back.
Yeah.
Or else I'll get my shotgun.
Yeah, some people are a little too hardcore on the
But
track.
no, we found something really amazing down there.
I don't remember. What was it?
The Formula 2.
Oh my God, it was a
Oh, yeah,
3.6 liter V6
It was
Renault.
a Formula Renault, but when we saw it going by, I heard the engine like going like,
Yeah.
like that
Oh, yeah,
transmission. I was like, what the hell is this? So I turn around, all delivery from the Renault Formula One team, like exactly the same. And I was like, no way.
It was the most badass thing ever.
And I would look at the dealer and I'm like, we run.
we ran. We physically
I'm
were
like, oh,
running
hell
over.
no, I'm finding
to get
this
a video.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
like at the candy store. I need to get it.
Yeah, we ran like 5 garages over. We're just like, oh, come on, we're gonna go. But the first time I heard it, we were actually in the room for the download meeting, and it was like, and I was like, it sounds like a V10. I was like, what is that thing? It sounds like a race car. And we go out, and I see that thing. I was like, oh my God. And we actually got to see him race like 2 laps. I tried getting a video of it, and then the lap I got a
crazy.
video. Yeah, he pulled out of the track. So.
But it was really good. I mean, that was one of the best experiences. I mean, he had one person for like helping him do everything. He had the tire warmers. He had everything, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty badass.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I was too busy trying to figure out. Okay, let's get. It was your dad. in his
Yeah, you were
Porsche.
trying
I
to
was just
help
like
him.
help him out and everything. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you were helping. Yeah, that's right.
I was, yeah.
You didn't.
I didn't
you
go.
didn't go.
I didn't go. That's why I'm just like.
So I was thinking, I was sitting shotgun with Dylan when he was doing his laps. I had to change my
You had to run out.
my group so I can go after him instead of going before him, so we can be on time.
Right.
So then at the beginning it was like crazy confusing because we went out and they told us like this was not your
they black
your group, but
flagged
then just
us,
like go out and then they
They black flagged
I
us
was like,
because we
what
were
the
supposed to be in a
hell?
lane and then we
Yeah.
couldn't get out of it
We-
until
yeah.
and I'm like, oh.
I think it's because we went on the bank.
we went too early on the bank.
Yeah, we went
Yeah,
too early on the
that was
bank.
our fault. That one we'll take it, and
Yeah.
that was bad.
I mean, we're still going pretty fast, but yeah, no.
We're going fast. So jeez.
Yeah.
But no, it was pretty cool. And it was your first time on the track.
It was my first time driving on the track. I don't think I did half bad. I think
He
it was
didn't tell
really
me that
good.
until I was sitting on the car.
Yeah, I was like, hey, so this is my first time.
Thank
on
God
the
you guys
track.
were wearing helmets, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So for your first experience, how was it? Like, what was it? Everything you actually?
It was everything and more that I expected. It was amazing. So personally, I've always loved just like high speed adrenaline. Like, so, well, my one thing was like, okay, I'm taking an electric car to the racetrack. I don't know how well that's going to work out because I've heard stories of the Model S and Model X overheating on the track. But that's why we had the Model 3. That's the only Tesla that won't overheat on the track. So the only thing is, it's gonna run out of battery, this and that. I mean, at my last session, it ran out of battery, but that's because I'm pushing the car probably a little harder than I could have. But
Right.
it handled
A
amazingly.
little.
Just a little, yeah. Pushing 120 by the sidewall. Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it was truly an experience I'm extremely grateful for, and I would hands down do it again any day. But it was amazing just driving because my first time on Fontana, I was passenger in a Shelby GT350R, and I mean that car's a beast. It's a track beast. The guy who is driving really experienced. We were passing everyone, Aventadors, Lamborghinis, this, that, whatever you name it. Like we were passing them, and so having the experience of being in the car with him, following his lines and remembering it for the next time I was out on track, which is my first time driving, was just something that really helped a lot because I already knew the track and it was like, okay, I think I got this, but at the same time, it's like, I absolutely don't have this. You're going from like 100 to 0 miles per hour in pretty short amount of distance.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you take you look at all the turns and all the on ramps and off ramps now differently. You're like, oh, apex here, apex there.
Yeah, no, getting on there.
A true gearhead. That's
Getting on the 91 freeway. I'm driving like I'm racing. My like arms on like that 45-degree angle. You know, I'm trying to like hold it. Okay, release. Just hit that apex. Allegedly in Mexico, of course.
In Mexico.
Mexico, yes, all the on ramps in Mexico,
yes,
they're great roads.
Yes, under 25 miles per hour only. Of course,
exactly. So I mean,
That's
he
hysterical.
did awesome.
Thank you.
I was right next to him, and I was just yelling instructions like brake here, go, gas, gas, brake, and he picked it up really quick.
Yeah, thank you. The only thing that didn't make sense was gas. Driving an electric car. Gas. I'm like, what? I don't have that feature.
There's no gas in this engine.
I mean, we could just say power.
Yeah. kilowatts.
It's too complex. It's just gas. Just go. Just go.
It was so much fun. And then the best part was when we were driving, we got to pass that, what's it called? The Gallardo. There was that guy. Or wait, no, I was alone. Wait, no, this is when I was driving alone.
No, that was a different one.
Yeah. So I passed a Gallardo.
I didn't jump on that one with you.
Yeah, no. That was my third session. That's the one you said go alone. I was like, what?
No, because I mean he had lines and I was like, it gets to a point that when you see that he gets it, the only way that you can start like picking up more stuff is when you like literally like go by yourself and start like making your own mistakes and you're like, oh, okay, no. Because you're always relying sometimes, once you get the instruction, once you get the lines, you rely on someone telling you like brake. No. Now you need to go. Now you need to pay attention where to brake, where to gas, where to take the apex, all that stuff. So it changes the dynamic once you're by yourself. That's why I told you, like, dude, go by yourself. You're good. Like, you know the lines. You know what's going on. You know where to pass and where not to pass. And the group was not that busy, but so it was pretty good.
I think the 14, 15 cars.
Yeah,
but they were pretty spread apart.
Yeah, they were spread apart.
The good thing was that, like he said, is just that it was actually a very hot day and there wasn't a lot of people on that track that day, to be honest.
Yeah, the last session, there were like no people left.
Oh, dude, everyone left by the fourth session just because it was so dang hot.
Yeah, I left because I had 1 mile left on the car. Yeah, fun experience.
Like, so what do I do? And
I'm like, I'm pushing 113 and then I see my range going 30, like 33 miles, 30 miles, 24, 16, 15, 14, 10, 8. I'm like, I think I should probably exit the track. And so there's a 0-1 behind me pushing at least 130. This guy's tailing me. I have my fist out the window. That means I'm exiting the track. The guy's still tailing me. He almost rear-ended me when I'm leaving the track. And I'm like, he got black flagged immediately after that. So I was like, good for him. Like, leave the track.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things.
Yeah,
They're very,
respect.
You just, there's so many people out there on the track to make sure and monitor everything is safe and everyone's having a good time, basically. And, it just takes one person to go ahead and kind of ruin it for everybody, especially if they're not following the rules and everything. But another thing we wanted to bring up that you just recently did was the rally.
Yeah.
The rally experience.
So jealous.
Yeah, once he told me you did that, I was like, oh, I know that chapped his ass.
No,
so tell us everything about it.
Yeah, so basically for my dad's 50th, his fraternity brother's best friend and me, we all went to Washington. So we started off the trip in Seattle and then we went to Snoqualmie and we went to a place called Dirtfish. So it's a rally school driving thing. And it was the coolest thing ever. I mean, it was a full day experience. When you get there, they actually have a full, like, not VR, but they have the whole Xbox setup with all the chairs and the, like,
kind
gear
of
shifters.
simulation.
Yeah, the whole simulations and everything. And it's, like, set for them. Like, it's, like, their own application and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they sat on there for countless hours trying to tweak the car to kind of make it similar to how their cars are, adjusting the, cameras here, this, and there.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. So basically we get there and then one of the people thought it was funny. He's like, oh, I'm signing Dylan up for the automatic BRZ. They have one automatic car in the whole entire lot.
Why the hell were you on that one?
So they signed me up for that, right? And I get there, I'm like, hey, do you guys have a manual one for me? And like, yeah. We were like, who's this guy who's driving the automatic? And our family friend, the one who signed me up, says, oh, Dylan, I have to sit when you pee if you drive the automatic. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, true. Yeah. Come on, people. You're going to rally school and you get an automatic. Not acceptable.
So I immediately switched over to the manual. So luckily I didn't have to touch the automatic. I just saw it and I was like, nope, bye. And so I drove the manual, and it was the most fun thing ever. Like, we started off with like a little circuit thing. So we just did like a little oval, and it's all wet gravel. So it's like you have enough grip, but the car's just slipping out.
Okay.
And so the whole time.
And you have an instructor.
Yeah, we have an instructor in the car with us the whole time. And we're just drifting the car around this and that. And it was so much fun. We did different like little time trials in and out of cones, stuff like that. Just learning how to like handle the car. And one thing that was really interesting was the left foot brake. So you have your right foot on the accelerator, left foot on the brake, and then your clutch is just, you leave it there. But it was really interesting because like, you never do that. Like when I first started driving, I used my left foot for my brake because I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to. I was like, it was a little stupid, but
well, you can use
It's
it,
not
especially.
stupid. It's actually
really
pretty
good idea.
smart.
Because
It's a really good
it's
idea.
especially if you have like a front wheel drive and you want
Yeah.
that rear end to kind of lift up a little bit, and you're going around a turn. You kind of like tap the brake with your left foot, and it shifts the weight forward and brings lines up the rear to have the rear kind of rotate just a little bit.
Yeah.
It gives you like that fake drift
Yeah.
kind of type of deal, but I mean that's actually how it works.
yeah. So, I mean, I think that was really interesting to learn that. And it was like lift, turn, brake, lift, turn, brake. So you lift your foot off the accelerator, you turn, and then you brake.
Yeah.
And then you hold that drift around a corner, like, and you don't think you're going to be able to hold it, but then you just have to hold it. And so I actually have GoPro video of it. My friend Matt's actually editing all the videos. I'll post a vlog. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, you need to send that stuff.
Yeah. I'll send the link when
that
that's
thing.
ready.
Oh yeah,
but,
we'll definitely take a look at it and see what's up.
I mean, I think there's like 20 something minutes of pretty solid footage. So
Oh, wow,
hopefully
that's
we'll
really
condense
good.
it. Yeah. Got the GoPro mounted on like 5 different camera angles. So, I mean, that was seriously the most fun thing I've ever done. Aside from Fontana. I think Fontana's number 1. That's number 2. Yeah. We all need to go out and do that. But
Dude, if you don't mind me asking, what was the price on that?
I wasn't looking at the price, but I think for the full day it was about 2,000 online. So it's expensive, but like
But like full day is like what?
From like
how much full day? Like
8 to 5, or no, like 8 to 2 or 3.
and
that's
seat
not-
time.
What?
How much? How long were you driving? Like
Yeah,
how
between
much,
those 8 hours,
You were
8,
sitting
9.
down on the car for how long?
Pretty good amount of time, I'd say, like a quarter to half of the time. So you're getting good experience. Like they let you do the same track like 3 times each. So like you get like 3 full laps, and then you get off, and then you do it again. So like at the end of the day, you're doing a lot of driving, and it's a lot of fun, but it's so amazing. There's actually so luckily
Jealous.
yeah, it was awesome. So my car started out in first and in last, so it just depended on like how the group in front of you kind of finished up. So my car in the back, the instructor I was with, it was Brad. Yeah, his name is Brad. Brad, if you ever see this, I miss you, man. That was a great day. Thank you so much. Hook me up with an employee discount. Yeah. Yeah, so he was like, Dylan, you know, if you really want to spin out the car, I'll let you do it. And I was like, okay. So I just take the car and we're driving on the track and I just flip it around and I'm just doing donuts in it. And then he's like, okay, that's good. And it was so awesome. And there was a cameraman there. And I was like, did you get the picture of me doing donuts? And like, oh, I tried not to get pictures of people's mistakes. I was like, oh, dang. I was
It
like,
was not a mistake. I was really pushing to do that. It looked cool. Okay.
Yeah, I was
did
like,
that
that would have been the
intentionally.
coolest photo. Yeah, but it was so amazing. The whole entire day. I mean, just being able to drive and like even when we're watching other people drive, it's like, okay, now I picked up on what they did and what they were doing right and wrong. And it's like now I can apply that. So basically you go out and you drive, then the second group goes out and they drive, and then you go after them and then they go after you.
Right.
So you have the time to drive and then you have the time to reflect and then drive. So
Nice.
it worked out
That's
really
pretty
well.
good.
Yeah.
That
That's
sounds pretty
nice.
good.
It's a
have you
really good system.
have you driven on any other like tarmac track since then, or it's
No.
just that's been the last kind of like?
That's been the last like racing class.
Because my next
racing I've
question
done.
was going to be like, okay, what do you see differently as to that you're doing as a driver on the track from that experience to that experience? Like, you know, I was just
I
curious.
could kind of say it's almost the same thing. It's like so one thing about drifting is you have to hit the late apex. So I think you go in a little earlier and then
It's
you
a
hit
different angle, yeah.
it's a different angle to hit, because when you're racing on the track, you have to hit the apex perfectly. You're like, hit the apex and like stay tight, go out and this and that. But when you're rally driving, you're drifting. So you have to hit it a little late so you can drift around.
Right.
And the really interesting thing is you actually go faster by braking. People think the brakes make you slower. It makes you faster. So you drive faster with your brake than you do your accelerator into those turns.
Everything is what we have learned is like the closest you get to the braking point. Like you have to get your braking points right.
Yeah.
If you get them right, then you start adding seconds and adding. You're like cutting.
Yeah.
Then-
One thing I noticed that you said what was it like? You said brake,
Lift, turn, brake.
lift, turn, brake.
Yeah.
And then over on the track, it was like brake, look, turn, and everything, because you want to do all your braking first. Then you kind of look where you're gonna go, and then you do.
You just aim the tires on the front and just like
the pointy end to the apex.
Yeah, but Rally, as he said, Rally is completely different.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean,
it changes.
Yeah, it changes, but you're still looking ahead. Like you're always looking ahead, and then like you don't want to make any last minute moves, of course. So you're looking far ahead into your next turn, and then into your
always
second
do that.
turn.
You always look
Always. So that's like one similarity. That's like there's a lot of things that go in. I think going to Fontana beforehand gave me an upper hand. Like to put in perspective, a lot of people were spinning out on the track and weren't able to handle the car and stuff. And I didn't spin out once, but I just send all of that to like Rafa teaching me how to hit that apex properly, how to drive the car properly. And so I think that was really interesting to see like, okay, I've applied all my racing skills now to the rally driving, even though they're two separate things. I mean, it was really awesome.
It's always skill. Like it's everything is about how you feel the car too. Like what is the car doing? What is how to counteract the bad reaction of the car, put it back on its place. Like all that stuff is always. And he jumped in shotgun with me on the Z.
I was in the
never ever had passengers on the track except you.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna tell you that.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah,
Not even me. I've known this guy for years.
Really?
Yeah.
I will be like, probably gonna die, both of us. So whatever.
You know, for going out,
to be honest, I think you like it. It's like it's always different when you have somebody in the car. You know, you're conscious of it, and then you're just like, okay, I have somebody here. This is not my life that I also have to take care of.
Yeah, it changes a lot of stuff. So I was like, you tell me, hey, and I go right with him. Like, yeah, come on, jump up. So I show you all my tricks.
Yeah, you still push the car a lot. That was awesome. My legs were actually flying around.
That was the funniest.
It was the funniest thing.
I never had passengers on, like when I brake like that, right? So
because they're heavy.
I suddenly
awesome
see
brakes.
it like this, and I was coming out of the big turn, and then I like slam on the brake before I make the left turn. His arms were like, and I see legs and arms like, fuck.
Yeah. Like I'd be sitting upright and then he'd slam on the brakes. My whole body just turns into like the letter C, like a backward letter C. Like my arms and legs are out forward and I'm just like sliding around like this.
And I'm like, dude, you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, I'm awesome.
go.
We need to put a girl in your car because then there's some.
Oh, that would be perfect. We'll find one next time.
Yeah.
The whole experience was awesome though.
But it was really good, and he did really good. And then your dad, you jump in with his dad on the.
Yeah, I was.
That was another weird.
I was helping your
find.
dad out.
Yeah,
I was definitely helping your dad out. Man, that Porsche. I mean, is
what was it? You know,
the
Panamera 4E hybrid.
Yeah.
So it's a grocery getter.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid version of it.
Bandari,
When we came out, like, what? A Tesla 3 and a Porsche hybrid. I was like, what?
So we bought the two dumb people the electric cars to the track just to make everyone else mad. No, so the Panamera actually gets 33 miles of pure electric range, and then it has that hybrid system. So it's a 2.9 liter V6 twin or supercharged. It's a supercharged, yeah.
Oh, that one, the Porsche.
Yeah, it's the same exact.
I thought it was
engine.
twin turbo.
No, that's what I thought too, but it's supercharged. It's the same engine that's in the Audi RS5. Oh. So yeah. Okay. It's an awesome engine.
Yeah, that thing is amazing. I mean, just as a passenger, there was certain points where I was like, "Oh, we're gonna lose grip. We're gonna lose it right here." And nope, there's so much technology. Like I was saying, we were discussing earlier. Like there's so much technology in that car that makes you a pretty darn good driver.
Yeah, it's like you can.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot when you have that much stuff.
Yeah, it helps a lot. It really does. And I'm like, I want one. It was comfy too.
Yeah,
I mean, it was nice during while we were kind of lining up. We had the AC on. We are just there chilling, getting our backs massaged. Because
it's lovely when you race like that. Lovely.
And then and then we just shut it off, put it in the sport, I think track mode or sport mode?
Plus,
Sport Plus mode.
Yeah, so that's a Sport Chrono package. We basically, when we bought the car, it was like someone built the car, didn't want it, and then so we just got it for a crazy awesome deal. So it was like, know what? We're going to take it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
because the other one we were looking at didn't have Sport Chrono or any of the upgrades, and they basically sold it to us for cheaper than the car with no upgrades. It's an absolute win to get
that's
a really expensive package.
That's what I would do. If I had
it was nice.
Came across
the car was really nice. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it was nice. I really liked it. The only thing was so dang hot.
It was hot.
It was hot.
And all of our cars are like black on black, so
I know. And then here we go to like Chuckwalla in November. The last time we went, and we're like in the middle of the desert, and then we're just like thinking it was going to be warm or
It
anything,
was
but it's actually
freezing.
freezing. It was
that's
cold.
brutal.
Yeah,
It was
we were
cold.
freezing. The tires will not grip at all anywhere at the beginning of the track.
Up until like maybe 11 o'clock when everything started getting warm, the track was warm, everything was nice.
Then it started
That's
picking
when we
up.
started,
Yeah.
getting more grip. Car kind of was just like,
No,
okay,
but
we
it
like
behaved
this.
really nice. Yeah, no, you need to go to Chakwala.
I will.
You
We'll
definitely
plan
should.
that out, but
But
no.
we need to figure out where the hell is he gonna plug his car?
I'll take a different car then.
There you go.
There you go. Take a different
Yeah.
car. Just that's the whole point. We've been saying like just seat time to begin with. Seat
Yeah.
time. The more you can drive, the better it will get.
Oh yeah, and then whenever you get an instructor when you're on the track, even if it's your first time, second time, 20th time, it's always good to go ahead and get that instructor there with you. It helps a lot. It really does. I mean, and then they help you learn the track, what lines kind of to take and everything. And then like Rafa said, once you get to the point where you feel comfortable, go on your own, make your mistakes, and learn from your mistakes,
And then get instruction again.
and then get instruction.
So
again.
you're like, oh, okay, so I was doing this wrong. I was doing that wrong.
Yeah, you need to go
The
here. you need to-
first time that I went to the track was with the Mazda Speed 3 on a big track. It was on the Mazda Speed 3, and I got an amazing instructor, dude. Like he had a freaking Honda SI, a Civic SI, with slicks, coilovers, and brake pads. That's it.
Wow.
Nothing else. Holy crap! I did the same thing like you did.
Yeah.
I was hanging from the seatbelt to begin
That's
with.
awesome.
But then we were going on the track and we caught up to a Viper.
Oh,
We were
Wow.
cutting up to a Viper because it's a lot of corners on that. It's very wiggly, the track on there. And he was side to side to the freaking Viper. And I just saw him going like, yeah. And I'm like this, grabbing the seatbelt. And the exhaust of the Viper like, wow, right next to us. I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Comes to the corner and he lets the freaking Viper go because he knows he was going to go faster than him on the straightaway. Lets him pass, takes off, and then we start catching back up again. Straight away, he left up, but catching back. It's a freaking Civic SI that it was from the wife that he drives a pink Honda Fit with a turbo.
that's so
That
funny.
thing, he did it on purpose because he's chasing freaking Porsches on that thing.
That's awesome.
And that Porsche, he told me like one day a Porsche guy came into him and said like, you just freaking ruined my videos. He's like, why? Well, because I've been taken over by a pink Honda Fit, and I have a freaking
That's-
911 turbo.
that's-
Like that's the whole point.
That's
And he's
awesome.
like,
That's the
yeah, I
beauty.
know.
That's like so like satisfying when you know that this
Yeah.
car is just whooping on all these big, expensive.
And he's really good, but he
Supercars,
just
exotics.
I mean, that's all he does. He works for Chevy, and the Chevy, I think he's a tech, and that's all he does. And that day, the Fit, something happened to the car, so he said like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna take my wife's car." He took that freaking car, and he was driving like crazy, dude. I was like, I need to jump in with you. I need to see how you do it.
Yeah.
And he did, and obviously the slicks make a complete world of difference. It's
Oh, yeah.
the grip is unrealistic from whatever tire you like tried. Going to the slicks is insane. Plus the way he drove, I mean, I was like, "There's no way." I mean, it's insane how good he is.
Wow, that's awesome.
But that's what I'm saying.
You learn a lot.
You learn a lot. So
learn
from
a
people
lot.
that go to the track, and then I had another one for Fontana, but his car was a different car. I think it was a front wheel drive. And at that point, I was driving the Z, and his lines were not the same that I was like looking into. So I had to ask another person that was driving a rear wheel drive to see what lines they were taking. And it changes, it varies. So you need to like also find like who can instruct you the right way.
yeah.
So, for example, your car's rear wheel drive, my car's rear wheel drive, and that will help you a lot. Because I can tell you, like, take this, brake here, take off here, like, you let it slide, let it go a little bit more, and it will make a big difference.
Yeah. Your lines as from a rear wheel drive car to a front wheel drive car or an all wheel drive car kind of varies.
Yeah.
I mean, you could maybe take a very similar close line to it, but it's not going to be the same. Yeah. It's very different because of the dynamics of the car and how it handles and and all that stuff. But yeah,
it's been cool.
Yeah. So we're going to be going out to Chakwala in November.
We're going to be there. We're going to have to try to drag this guy to Adams.
Adams, yeah. We like to hang out at Adams.
You will learn a lot.
Okay.
It's in Riverside, so it's
I'm
close
fine
by.
with that. Yeah.
You will learn a lot.
Catch the
down
toll
there.
road, bring on down, take it
Yeah,
90
because that that place is like is so short, so compact that your car will be perfect because of the torque that it has. It's just monstrous.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
And you will learn because it's so technical and it's so tight and so small that just getting a freaking to reduce your time in that track.
Oh yeah,
it is hard.
it's hard.
Like you have to be precise every single time just to be like shaving time, and it is hard. We go like that's basically the place where I break the tires in, like the suspension. I test it over there because the brakes I test them there. The new radiator, all the stuff that I tested in there because.
Oh yeah, of course it's not as expensive as going
really
out to an actual track.
Yeah.
And it's super cheap down there. It's really cheap, and a lot of people came out from that place, like drifters and time attackers. A lot of them. There's like a really nice niche that they come and become like very good out of that.
Wow, I'll have
So
to do that.
you have to go there.
Yeah,
We'll
you
do that.
definitely do.
I'd say so. The best part about being on the track, passing a Lamborghini, passing the Hellcat. Do you remember that?
Oh,
so
the
there was a
Hellcat.
Hellcat. I mean, so funniest thing ever. This guy's flying, right? I mean, he's in his all-American car. I'm in my all-American electric car that no one considers to be an all-American. To me, the Tesla's an American muscle car. That's what it is, whether you like it or not. But so he's driving the Hellcat and he's flying through the straightaway, and then it gets to the corners, and I'm pretty far behind him. Ralph is in the car with me. We're far behind him. Not only do we catch up, we passed him.
That was
We
impressive.
passed
That
him.
was freaking impressive. I'm like, okay, go. He give you a pass. Go. Just I hope someone is recording this shit. Go.
He went from this to
Yeah.
this.
I have all the
Until I went from this to that.
I know, right?
I was like, oh yeah.
You're like,
Passing a Gallardo, that was probably the funniest thing. And then some guy brought his 2006 Chevy Silverado truck.
Yes.
Nothing.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yes.
that.
So
I did see
I did
that.
not do anything wrong. Nothing against him.
Yeah, nothing against him, but
But
like,
Jesus Christ, man, open up or give
and
a pass.
he was dangerous.
He was
It
going all over the
dangerous,
place. I
yeah.
mean, not in the bad way. It was just I don't know if he knew what he was doing. Like
Yeah.
he didn't have like the enough instruction for him to like okay, let people pass if you're like slower. It's a very heavy truck, and it had the traction on the back was like all over the place.
Yeah, it was
obviously because it's a pickup.
flipping around everywhere.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah,
it
of
was
course.
not the best.
Top
experience
heavy.
of
And
that.
then he finally like
Body
I didn't even get
roll.
the point by, but I was like, I
No, I
can't drive around
told him
I
just pass him. He's
yeah.
getting dangerous. So
And then at the end of that, actually, I was in the camera booth. So like, there's people that take pictures of you and stuff.
Yeah.
And I go, he's like, "Who's a stupid kid driving the Tesla?" And I was like, "That was me." He's like, "Well, why'd you pass me?" I was like, "Why are you driving a truck on the track?" And like, he was all mad at me and stuff. But I was like, "Dude, it's dangerous."
if you don't let, I mean, if they're on top of you, just let them pass.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not there to make money.
Yeah,
out
that's
of track
the other
racing.
thing.
Yeah.
There's people like you guys said. There's people out there that won't let you pass.
Yeah, it's
and I'm
crazy.
like, they say it's a point. Hey, if you see that there's traffic behind you, pass them.
Yeah.
Let them pass you. Let them pass you, because if not, dude, you're gonna create so much congestion and everything.
Yeah,
and it's
then it
just like,
turns into the 91.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Same
much,
thing.
right? Pretty much.
Yeah, one of the coolest videos also is we have the video of we were driving him that Shelby GT, the 350, and we're on the track, and that thing just sounds amazing. And he gave us a point by, and I didn't think the Tesla would pass him that quickly because we're on the upper part of the bank, he's on the lower part, so he has that grip. But then I passed him. I think we were going 127 around that turn.
Yeah,
I
it was
passed him.
going quick on that.
And I mean, you could hear the Mustang. It sounded amazing. And then I think the best thing was just having Ralph as an instructor, just being able to like teach me all the lines and stuff, and then being able to apply that and pass people.
Yeah.
And I think the only car that ended up passing me and my dad and like everyone else was that ZR1. There was a track built ZR1.
yeah, that thing was
Yeah.
brutal.
Brutal.
But it was really fun giving
It was
instruction. It was
awesome.
pretty fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
But on that note,
We're gonna have to wrap this one.
yeah,
up.
we're gonna wrap it
Yeah.
up, and until next time, thank you for coming
Thank you
out,
for
dude.
coming,
Of course, thank you
Dylan.
guys for having
Thank
me.
you.
Oh, dude, it's always nice to have a guest out here other than him and I arguing.
Arguing
I got
about
tired
stuff.
of hearing his voice. I'm like,
Yeah, just start fighting each other.
there can only be one.
It can only be one. Well, this was No Speed Limit
360.
And thank you guys.
Shutters.
Okay. I was looking at the time. I'm like,
I saw
25
it too.
minutes, 30 minutes. And I was like, this was supposed to be like 25